Hey, what's up to all you amazing educators out there? This week's episode, we're about to deal with some serious issues. Welcome to episode 8 of Next Level Teaching. Let's get it. Okay, question number 1. What you got?
Hey Jeremy, I'm Christina Cody from Cherokee County. I want to know, how can teachers explore their own bias and how it affects their classrooms?
Okay, great question. And so for those of you all watching, let me tell you where that question stems from. A few weeks ago, I was with Christine and her amazing Principal Nesbitt at the Mary Bramlett Elementary School in Gaffney, South Carolina. And while we were there, they deemed that it was necessary for us to take a community tour. So we loaded up all of the educators, all of the teachers and counselors at the school, and we began to really go through the community. This is important because 90% of their staff or more are Caucasian women. And so the students are not that. And so we really wanted to be able to show the teachers, this is the world in which your students are coming from. So I think that awareness is key, but also acknowledgement. I mean, we're talking about bias here. We're talking about showing educators, hey, you know what I'm saying, let's be honest, acknowledge that you do have your biases. You do view things a certain way. Like if the narrative of a person of color is, if the narrative of a Hispanic person is, oh, they're coming over here and they're taking all of our jobs and they're raping all of our women, like that's a problem if that's your narrative. If your narrative of a black man, when you're in the elevator and you want to clench up to your purse because we all go to prison, like that's a really toxic narrative. And so what we got to do is we got to ask ourselves and we got to challenge ourselves, check our hearts and our mindsets and say, you know, how have I been viewing people of color or people who don't look like me? Like, how have I been viewing them? You know, and do I have some biases? Yes, I do. How can I change that? So the question is, how can we help teachers acknowledge and then realize that public service announcement, we all have it, you know? I'm at a certain place in my life now where if I see a certain person, I have to check myself and say, no, let me not deem, let me not look, just because they don't look like me, walk like me, talk like me, they don't come from our world. Everybody has a story. So check your narrative, check your heart, and really begin to really understand where these kids come from. I have teachers who tell me, Jeremy, these kids just don't want to learn. Well, if they didn't eat the night before, you know what I'm saying, they probably don't want to learn. You know, I have people say, well, they don't value education, they just wasted my time. Well, it's not that they don't value education, but nobody in their family got educated, nobody in their family graduated from high school or went to college, so they might not see it in some high esteem. The reality is when some of my teachers who I work with, they hear pop, 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 they think firecrackers, where some of their students might think gunshots. And so we've got to really ask ourselves and say, okay, let me first acknowledge where I am personally. You're not a bad person, acknowledge it. We all come from different cultures and backgrounds, and then get out here and kind of get an understanding to the world in which your kids come from so that you can best help them change that narrative, change their current condition. Because I believe that their condition will not be their conclusion because of the work that you do every single day. All right, great question. Question number 2, what you got?
Hey Jeremy, I'm Jeremiah Nam Kung from Tucker Middle School, and my question to you is, what is the biggest problem that our students face currently?
That was a loaded question. Okay, so what was the biggest problem that our students face currently? I could probably start by saying a lot of family issues. A lot of our students come from homes where there's a lot of brokenness, there's a lot of abandonment, a lot of betrayal, a lot of toxic stuff, and their brains are young, they're still trying to figure things out, and then they get caught up, you know what I'm saying, in that whirlwind, and they're not able to process it. I would also say bullying is a really big issue. A lot of your students are dealing with some heavy stuff. They're trying to figure out how to navigate these waters. They're dealing with verbal and physical abuse at home and in communities, and then they come to school and our schools aren't in a safe place. So it can be really big there. Mental health is big. There are so many kids that I'm working with who are cutting themselves and attempted suicide, and drug and alcohol abuse is a lot. Social media is crazy because though it's a great way to stay and connect with people, it's not the innocent little Facebook no more. Now you got Twitter, then you got Instagram, now you got Snapchat, and most of you teachers aren't really familiar with Snapchat, but kids love it because it's almost like it's a secret society, and now their brains are processing all these different things that they were never intended to see and process. And so it's a lot of stuff that these kids are up against. And on top of that, because they're so privy and so hip to technology, as educators, you might not be up on the latest technology. And so sometimes your curriculum and lesson plan and what you're teaching them can be out of date and there can be a disconnect. So there is a lot that these kids are up against. But let me tell you why I am encouraged about this new generation. Because of educators like you who show up every single day and say, I'm up against a lot with my own family. I've got my own health and financial and mental and relationship issues. I'm not hip to the latest technology and the social media stuff, but I'm gonna show up every single day. I'm gonna challenge the cultural norms. I'm gonna choose love and acceptance. I'm gonna move past this bias, and I'm gonna show love and honor and respect and do the best I can and speak life into this new generation. You have the power. Though they're up against a lot, you have the power to speak something over their lives to help them go to the next level. So I'm encouraged, because I could go on and on about what the kids are up against. But can I just talk for a moment about what the kids have in their corner? They have you. People who show up every single day that say, I'm not perfect, I've got my own issues and flaws, I'm trying to figure things out, but I care about this new generation, and I'm determined to see them win. Thanks for what you do. Question number 3, what you got?
Hey Jeremy, my name is Malia Brown. I'm here at GMS, and I'm wondering, what can I do to help my students that I believe are living in poverty?
Man, that's good. That's good. So what can I do to help my students who are living in poverty? I wish we could adopt them, you know what I'm saying? But we can't. We can't adopt them. We can't take them home with us. So I think the first thing we can do is, though they might live in poverty in their communities, when they come to your classroom, they need to feel like they in like a palace. They need to feel like mentally and emotionally like they're in a really special, safe place. Because many of your kids living in poverty, they're also living in very nasty and unsafe environments. So when they come to your classroom, they should feel safe, they should feel accepted, they should feel appreciated, they should feel loved when they come into your environment. How do you help kids in poverty? Let them share their story. I think it's going to be important for you to really understand what it is they're dealing with, what it is they're up against, you know, what it is that you're trying to figure out. Like, take some time to really understand their story so you can better serve them, because that's what we do. We're really servants at heart. Educators, we're here to serve these kids. Don't think that we're some on our high horse, we're here to save them. We're here to serve them and to pour into them. So find out what their story is, speak life, encourage them, and let them know that where they are right now can only be temporary if they put the work in. And then help them see past it. Because when I was young, I couldn't really see past it. My mindset of success and what wealth and what growth and production was, it was skewed because I didn't really see a whole lot. So I think you can be the gatekeeper to their minds to help them see there's a different world out here. There's a whole lot more that's in store for them. There's a whole lot more that they can accomplish and experience. And education can be the key. So you can be the one to sit the kids down and say, hey, I know you're struggling now, but it doesn't have to be like this always. Have them go to Google. Have them look up houses and cars and boats and what colleges and universities look like. Start planting those seeds now, whether they at elementary school, middle school, and definitely high school. Show them that where you are now, y'all know my quote, your condition will not be your conclusion. There is so much more you can have, in education will be key to their success. So I want to challenge you and every other educator watching this. You're going to come across some kids who are really struggling. Let them know, I acknowledge the struggle. I'm sorry you're going through this. If you once struggled, let them know, hey, when I was young, when I was your age, I struggled. I grew up in a community like this. Or maybe you can't. Maybe you can't relate. Let me tell you something. It is equally powerful when you tell that student, hey, my father was in my life. I never wanted for anything. Everything was great. But can I tell you, student, how amazed I am at your strength? Can I tell you how proud of you I am? Can I tell you how I'm just blown away that you keep coming to school every day? I don't know if I can handle what you've been going through. You are so strong. And I'm committed to helping you go to that next level. That's where the power is. And you have what it takes to shift the very lives and futures of your students. If you speak love, you speak hope, and you are optimistic, and you let them know there's nothing that they can accomplish, you keep speaking it over them, and you will be the very one that can help move them out of poverty, because education for most of them will be the key. That's our time. I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you for what you all do, for sacrificing and showing up every single day for these kids. Many of you know my story. Biological father wasn't in my life. Drug and alcohol abuse, failing over and over again. I had a lot of issues, but I connected with some educators who refused to give up on me, and my life went to a whole nother level. You have that power. Use that power, and I'll see y'all at the top. Have a good one. I'll see y'all next week. Peace. Hey, what's up, my people? Look, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and check this out. I've got so many more in store for you. So subscribe and do me a favor. Please leave me a comment, an emoji, a thumbs up, something. Let me know you're feeling it. Me and my team put so much energy, time, and effort into it, and it's free for you. Just let me know you're feeling what we're putting out here, and I'll see y'all real soon. Leave a comment. Peace.